Hello, everyone. It's Ingrid from thinkingthis.com, and today we are setting up week 32 in my Sterling Ink Common Planner A5 vertical. Afterward, we will say our affirmations and we will add August's lunar phases to the monthly and weekly pages. I'll show you the new notebook I made out of a file folder, and we'll talk about the video that I have linked in the description. It is Bailey Varnel's video about harnessing the power of Mars. I think that's what the video is called, but it's linked in the description. And she goes through each of the Mars placements, and each goes through each house and how Mars expresses itself there. And I have Mars in the 12th house, and that video was so validating for me that I was like, we need to talk about it. Just because that's where my mind has been, and so that is impacting planning, interestingly enough, and we will talk more about that after we set up week 32. So that said, we're gonna get right into it. Just need to change my view there. Okay, we're gonna get right into it. We are going to, well, first of all, this was week 31. We set this up live last week. Now we shall be doing week 32. I've already done a little time blocking here because yesterday I was starting to feel overwhelmed and disorganized. And I was like, how much time do I realistically have to devote to this project, which has been driving me nuts since the beginning of the year? And so I did a little time blocking to see how much time I really have for that project. And then ideally I will be following this time blocking for the next 3 weeks until I finish. God, you know why I paused? Because I'm actually embarrassed how long it's taken me. So I'm just going to stop talking about it. We're going to call it the embarrassing project. And if you're really curious, you can watch my old lives where you see me talking about it, and you can at least give me the views that way, because I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to finish it. And so next week's time block is most likely going to look a lot like this too, because I really want to be done. So, okay, that's it. Let's get into it. Appointments for week 32. I don't believe I have anything beyond Wednesday's book club and live on Sunday. So I'm just gonna double check the monthly calendar here. No, nothing for, other than the fact that it's Lionsgate on 8/8, and I do want to do something special for that. So I'm going to make sure I write it down right here. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but the color for August is white. I don't know why I chose white, because when the pages are white and you choose white, like, what are you doing? So a lot of times you're going to end up with black being one of the main colors, because you're going to try to go absence of color for white and use black for outline. Next year, I'm not putting white in the thing if I decide to go color next year, because I'm not too happy. Although, this was cute. I do like I do like how cute this looks. And I used white washi that had white in it to do it. It's cute, but I don't know. I'm not too enthused about the white yet. Okay, so Lionsgate, August 8th. You know, I should have been ready to talk about Lionsgate. I should have, but I didn't. All right, so I wrote that at the top here when I was really supposed to write it on this line. So I'm just going to do it again. Lionsgate. You still can barely read that. I don't know. That's my problem with white as the theme color. Like, how are we going to write all this stuff? Anyway, Lionsgate. Yeah, that's it for the appointments. Next, we are going to time block cooking dinner. Oops, wrong. Okay, here we go. Time block cooking dinner. I have more baking to do. Wah, wah, wah. I have to bake bread. So I have already separated my dry ingredients in anticipation for the bread baking. And so I will be separating my wet ingredients tonight. And hopefully I can bake that bread on Monday. I also have to butter the muffin tins. And that actually surprisingly takes an extremely long time to just get all that butter on there, because if you miss a spot, that's the piece. That's the spot where a piece of bread is gonna stick and flake off. It's very frustrating. Okay, and see, I have a lot of things written down here, but I'm just gonna write it. Separate eggs. And grease muffin tins. Oops. This freaking, what are we calling this again? This tab here totally messed up my writing there. Not a fan. Not a fan. Speaking of tabs, I was super excited to try them this year, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, but I don't really use them, and they just mess up writing. So I won't be doing that again either. Better to use my metal bookmarks and move those around accordingly, because in the end I don't really use these tabs too much. Okay, grease muffin tens. There we go. Okay, back to week 32. All right. Okay, so next up, cook dinner. Oh, bake bread. Write it down. Bake bread. There also needs to be a second batch of bread baking. And see, that's where I have... That's where I have some things... I have those time blocks scheduled. I may have to wake up super early in the morning. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Because I have to protect this time. And so... What? I'm going to do it 6 a.m. on Monday. So we got batch 1 at 6 a.m. Batch 2... Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. Batch 1 Monday afternoon. Batch 2 6 a.m. on Tuesday. So bake bread again. I just remembered something I did. Oh, I already X'd it out. Never mind. Just realized we forgot to have our family meeting today. Whoopsie. We were supposed to have a family meeting. Ugh. Everybody forgot about it. Okay, what time was that? Yeah, this time we will be doing it. Family meeting. Family meeting. Might as well put load vitamins here. Load vitamins. What else? Well, that's it. Time blocked. Dinner / cooking. All right. Okay, next up. Bedtime routine. Can you believe I still have to look that up? I've been doing this for 32 weeks. We're just gonna accept it and move on. All right. Bedtime routine. All right, just coloring in those unmovable time blocks there. All right. PM reflection. Weekly review. Okay, what is next? I believe it's homeschool instruction time. Yes, because we already did homeschool admin off camera yesterday. Oops. I'm messing up my husband's papers. I gotta be careful. Homeschooling instruction time now. All right, there we go. Bam, homeschool instruction time. Bookkeeping. We need to do our 90 minutes of it. We're going to have to do it Friday night. Going to aim for 7 to 8:30. All right, update homeschool register over here. And then bookkeeping. What's next? Our dots. Bookkeeping. Health related dot. Oops, Friday wasn't supposed to get that. That was just supposed to be a break. There we go. Okay. What are we up to? We just did homeschool instruction time. What else? Evenings. Well, the only thing for the evenings is I need to add when the books are open in the evenings. So that's what I'm going to do. And I need my business planner for that. If you've never seen it before, this is my business planner. It's a Filofax A5 rings. Why do I have a rings? Because I buy the honeycomb planner every 6 months. Because I love, having all the aspects pre-selected. And so this is what I use for my business thingy. And so this is how I keep track of if that day has open slots. And that's with this teal blue dot. And so just have to put this over here. Okay, so the 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. And then I want to go here and put it on the monthly pages. Is that where that goes? Was that supposed to go there? Interesting. Well, looks like I was doing that, so we'll keep it going. So 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's what it is. I have an event there, and so I had to put the blue dot at the end of the calendar box. But whatever, we're leaving it. Okay, 9th. And then again, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, 19th, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26. Okay, so those are all of the days that the books are open in August. And next week, when we're filling out the... Oops. Where are we going? Next week, when we're filling out the weekly stuff, we can add the blue dots at the top, which, you know, we're here, we have the marker in our hands, we might as well do it, especially because I want to add the moon phases to the weekly pages, and so let's just have it all 14, 15, 16. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now we're going to add the, I guess, what is the word? The rectangle that indicates that a booking could occur here in this evening, because during the week, I only have evening appointments available. So let's put that in. Okay, so that is possible booking slots. I am not going to do anything because it's just going to be too busy for no reason. If someone books it, then that's when I'll put the event signifier and the time. If no one books anything, whatever, it's just going to stay with that little rectangle. Okay, I need water. Speaking of bookings, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I'm actually talking about what it is that I do. I am Ingrid from thinkingthis.com. I am a writer, tarot reader, Akashic record guide, medium, and spiritual empowerment professional. I've discovered that decorative planning keeps me productive and motivated as I parent, homeschool, create content, and maintain my spiritual practice. On Sundays, I go live on YouTube, I time block and decorate my weekly pages. We, then do other spiritual empowerment based activities depending on, the mood or the lunar phase. And so yeah, we're here on Sundays at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we have done the evening routine. Next up is the morning routine. And I don't do any square making for the morning routine. I just make the task list and I let that first column speak for all the other days of the week. All right. So that's it. That's the task list. And then what I do is then just put the bullet in that same spot on the other columns of the days of the week. Right. Family meeting is this color. Oops, did that off camera. Oops. Let's twist it back so we can do the dots and people can actually see what you're doing there. cleaning. There are the other cleaning tasks, which I'm going to do in a second. Right, let's add the other cleaning tasks since we're here. 9:30. Ooh, man, I did this all crazy. Because of the baking bread thing. Messed up my whole little jammers there. But I guess we could leave it, even though I'm not going to be exercising. I'm going to be baking bread, so I don't need that. I don't need that there. Actually, I'm just going to take that out. We'll leave the oil pulling. Oops, wrong color. We will leave the oil pulling dot. But we are only going to put the direct morning routine dot. Because ultimately, that's really all there's time for. If I'm baking bread at that time, I'm not going to be doing anything else. We have that as well. We need this for the AM reflection. I just realized I wrote that in the wrong spot too. All right, AM reflection, and then meditating. Excellent. So our morning routine is time blocked. We only have to make our little to-do list titles here. Again, because the color is white, I really don't know what marker to use, but we're gonna just move this up a little bit. I'm gonna use this silver gel pen, even though we already previously had silver as a theme color. I don't know. You know what? Let's not. Let's choose the washi tape first and then just choose inks that match the tape. That's what I'm gonna do. So here are my options for white. We already used this in the monthly. I have some confetti looking thingies, but you know what? I'm just liking this grid, even though it's a blue grid. We're gonna go with that. Let's take that off. And so now it's a blue grid, and I don't have my gold gel pen, so I can't even play games. But that means I should grab my gold gel pen next time I'm downstairs. All right. So now that we have that decided, the grocery list. I'm going to use this like aqua because it matches the blue lines on the grid washi tape. That looks weird. That's annoying. All right, that's a freaking mess there. I'm not going to keep messing with that. All right, groceries. And then here we're going to put homeschooling. Bookkeeping. Thinking this. All right. Okay, just get in here with these dots. Homeschooling has an extremely long list of tasks. I gotta get it together with that. All right. And then we're gonna do our, bring this down again. Then we are going to do our, what's it called again? General to-do list. And I'm gonna go with this super light blue. to match that grid washi. All right, and then there we go. Very, very subtle blue. So I guess that's as close to white as as I'm gonna get. Just do with this blue too. All right, so that's it. The only thing that I didn't really do was make this load vitamin time block more obvious, because this yellow highlighter is just so light that you can barely see it. So like, I'd like to make this box a little bigger. I mean, not that making it a little bigger has helped me actually do the thing, but one day we'll get there. One day I will be able to put an X in that spot. Okay. All right, we are done with week 32 time blocking. And we're going to just jump right into what we talked about before. What did we talk about before? I can barely remember. Oh, I remember. It's the affirmations. So I'm going to write my affirmations with my Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen. And what I have noticed is that this pen likes to bleed to the other side. And it's very upsetting. It's very annoying. It has to do with that Tomoe River Sands and blee blee blee. And I don't know what it is, because this Jinhao doesn't bleed to the other side. Like, why does this? It's the same ink. And what's even crazier is this Twisby, which has a much more bold nib, filled with the same ink as the Pilot Vanishing Point, still does not bleed through, but the Vanishing Point does. I don't understand what's happening with that. I'm guessing I might be pressing too hard, and it's just giving the paper the extra, what's it called? The extra indentation it needs to hold the ink, like to pull the ink to the other side. That's the only thing I can think of. Ooh, just shake it all with your big old head. Oops. That's the only reason I can think of, that the freaking thing is all crazy. But we're gonna copy our affirmation. And we need a piece of paper. Because we forgot. Yeah. Okay, we're good there. Where we're copying, we're good. It's where we are copying from that requires some discretion. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's get in here with the affirmations. And I have to write super, super light in the hopes that I don't bleed over what I have written on the other side. Oops. By the light of the fiery skull, I know. One of my favorites. I create the conditions for my happiness all of the time. I create the conditions for my happiness all of the time. I'm concerned that that's already started its little dance. I accept and claim my unique beauty and wild soul. I have resolved the issues from my past and move forward with clarity into the future. The issues from my past and move forward with clarity into the future. I have the confidence to ask for what I want and to become more creative and spontaneous in my life. Oops. I have the confidence to ask for what I want and to become more creative and spontaneous in my life. And yet I fucking want nothing. I'm in the place where I don't want a motherfucking thing. But I don't know. I guess I don't have the confidence to ask for what I want because that's really behind not wanting anything. All right. I love myself enough to take excellent care of my body, and it responds by giving me vibrant, good health. And my energy. I'm going to add my energy to that this time. I love myself enough to take excellent care of my body and my energy. I love myself enough to take excellent care of my body and it. Ooh, I said my body, and it was supposed to be my body and energy. And okay, so I take care of my body, excellent care of my body and energy, and they respond with vibrant, good health. Okay, and what is today? Today is the 3rd, which means our color for today is orange. And so we're going to mark off, we're going to mark off that we said our affirmations. Affirmations. Boom. Okay, did it bleed to the other side? You see, it did. And I would show you why it's a problem. Because the freaking color I have here is light gray. So it's very hard to read. It's very annoying. But whatever. We're gonna use our freaking fountain pen because we bought that thing. All right, so we've done our affirmations. What did I say was next? After the affirmations, we will add our lunar phases. Oh, hey, sister. I don't know when you wrote that because, I mean, you probably wrote it recently because I've been periodically checking the screen. But yes, hello, sister. We just finished our affirmations, and I'm about to get into the adding the lunar phases to the monthly calendar. I'm going to use this to like blot. And then we're going to go over here to the monthly calendar. We're going to add the lunar phases. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we set up, a couple of weeks ago, we set up my moon mapping notebook with the phases for the new moon in Leo cycle. Oh, okay, so you got here at 4:30? Nice. All right, so here's the lunar phases for the new moon in Leo lunar cycle. And we're going to copy everything we have here, not everything, but just the phases here and the sign. Phase, sign, and time onto the monthly calendar. And then we go to the weekly calendar, and then we just put phase and sign. Okay? So let's begin. August 1st, which was yesterday. No, duh. August 1st, which was Friday, was the first quarter moon in Scorpio. I'll tell you, that fucking energy gets on my goddamn nerves. But sorry. Hate to be a, what's the word? Astrological bigot. I'm missing my big ruler. Oh, it's over here. Okay. So the first is right here. I'm gonna use this to match like this pinkish orangey thingy here. Okay, and it was first quarter. Hello, gorgeous. Hi, Mom. Love you. Hey, Mommy got a crown also. That's right. Fan number 1 and fan number 2. Fan number 1 and fan number 2 here every week with you. Okay, so first lunar phase in Scorpio. Next up, first quarter in Scorpio. And the time, 8:41 a.m. Yeah, I believe that's how that goes. I don't do this every week, and I'm a little bit confused. Let me look at this sample page here. Yeah, sign, time. Okay, no, we're good. All right, so first quarter moon in Scorpio. Next, on the 5th, we have waxing gibbous in Sagittarius. The 5th. Waxing gibbous. And Sagittarius. $10 a.m. Okay, next we have full moon, August 9th. Ooh, Lionsgate is just in time for the full moon. Wow. Okay, full in Aquarius. I'm going to write full here also, just because sometimes you can't tell, especially in this white theme. Like, I wasn't going to color them in unless I use a white gel pen, but you may not even tell that. You may not be able to even tell that I did that. All right, what time does that happen? The full moon occurs at 3:55 a.m. Okay, next. Ooh, my God, stop shaking the camera, girl. All right, continuing. I already made this thing crooked or something. Yeah, it's definitely crooked now. Okay, so full moon. Next up is waning gibbous in Aries, and that occurs on the 12th. I almost did it again. Waning gibbous in Aries on the 12th. This thing is messy now. Okay, last quarter was it's all uneven craziness. Last quarter moon in Taurus. Kind of came out of the lines a little there, but hopefully it didn't do anything crazy. 1:12 a.m. Okay, next up we have waning crescent on the 19th. Um, 11:37 a.m. 11 a.m. New moon. When is the new moon? Because I only have the cycle here, so it can't be that, right? Let's go back. New moon is on the 23rd. That's why. Okay. So wait, let's go. New moon is on the 23rd. And that is in Virgo, right? Am I going crazy? Yeah, okay, Virgo. And then the new moon. There we go. What's next? On the 26th. Waxing crescent. Wait, I'm crazy. It's not waxing crescent. I mean, it is waxing crescent, but that's not how you write waxing crescent. Okay, try again. At 11:44 p.m. Okay. Now I'm going to try to come in here with this white gel pen kind of marker thingy. You can't really tell, but it does, when you hold it at a certain angle, you can kind of see that it did color in a little bit. But this is what I mean by white. You need like a thicker gel pen or something, or like, should I just come in here with hang on, I'm trying to find the other gel pen. Here it is. Let's see if we get a better result with this. If I just color with this. I mean, there we go. That's not terribly. It's not terribly. Right there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how valuable doing this is. But we have done it. It is there. In white. White and like a coral pinkish color. All right, so there's our lunar phases on the monthly pages. We're going to run right into the... I got to stop turning the book like this. It's giving away all my secrets. the weekly pages. That's where we're going, which I closed. Okay, here we go. Now we need to add the lunar phases to this spread. And it's the 9th. Anything else? The 5th and the 9th. Okay, so we'll start with our circle first for the 5th. And then the 9th. As we stated, it's a full moon on the 9th. On the 9th. And it is, did we say Scorpio? I mean, Aquarius. Yes, an Aquarius. Full moon in Aquarius. And then on the 5th, it would be waxing gibbous. Am I crazy? That's waxing gibbous, right? Am I nuts? Yes. Okay, so we're going to do the... All right, now, wait. Now I realize, is something wrong here? No. Okay, it's correct there. All right, and it's waxing gibbous in Sagittarius. And there we go. Okay, we are almost done, and I'm excited to show you my little quote-unquote notebook that I made on Friday? Thursday or Friday? It was Thursday or Friday. No, I think it was Thursday. Made myself a little notebook out of a file folder. Okay. We're done with that. We're done planning week 32. We've set our affirmations. We have added our lunar phases on the monthly and weekly pages. And now, bam, close the book for now. And let's jump into me showing you my quote-unquote notebook. And I'm calling it quote-unquote because it's not bound in any way. But here it is. I made this on Thursday. And why did I make it? I made it because in here is a project. It is called the Moon Mapping Study Guide. So I have been developing a particular, the camera covers my face. Oh, you mean, this is my microphone. Sorry. And then, yeah, this is the camera. Sorry. So yeah, this, I've been working on this project definitely since 2022. There's a piece of paper in here dated January 2022, like with a task list and everything, which means I started it before then, but I like had a task list for January 2022. And I would pick it up here and there. And whenever I would hit like a roadblock or like a wall, I would put it down for like months and not touch it again. And then, of course, with all of the administrative and bookkeeping and school-related transitions that occurred during that time period, I obviously haven't finished. Anyway, I was feeling very inspired by these Everbook videos. Okay, an Everbook is like a leather folder, right? Where you like put these, pieces of paper that are like cut in half or folded in half. And like each project gets its own piece of paper, for instance, or something like that. And And then you end up with these bundles, like a bundle of pages related to like a specific thing, right? And I was like being very inspired by it. And I was like, ooh, how much is an Everbook? And dude, Everbook, it's a piece of leather. You know, the thing is like over $50, possibly more. And I said, Ingrid, you don't need a notebook. You don't need a new notebook. You need to jazz up something that will help you get excited about picking this project up again. Thank you, Mother. So I did a search on YouTube, found like a 10-year-old video of how to turn a file folder into an A5 folder for your Filofax. And I just didn't do the whole punching of the Filofax that she developed. I can't remember her name, so I'm gonna have to add her video in the description after this live. But anyway, so this is it. You hold it together with this. If you don't hold it together with that, the papers are gonna fly out because again, it's not bound. Oh, and why did I even want to start with a new notebook? Because I wanted to use my fountain pens. And this fountain pen is bleeding through a lot of paper, a lot of different kinds of paper. And I was like, is there a way I can use my fountain pens to complete this study guide? Will I get excited for that? And I was excited. And so I made these little jammers. And I added this piece. Like this piece gets cut off when you're cutting the folder down to size, but I added it back and glued it back. Okay, so let's look inside briefly. And so we've got like a little folder here where we can stick things. And here I have my references. So these are some bib cards that I have about stuff that I'm talking about in the guide and like what page you can find that on and what book. And then I decided to make a list of my references. So Stephen Forrest books, he gets his own page. And then the other resources, they get their own page. So that's what's in this little section here. And as I write, any new resources get added to this sheet. Like that's kind of the point. Okay, and then we have the task list for the moon mapping study guide. I have to do all of these things in order for me to complete this project. And so that is like here, like at the top, and it's not shoved into a folder because when I open the little book, you know, bam, the task list with the actions is right here in the front. Okay. This dirty looking piece of cardboard, it's dirty because I had it in a traveler's notebook that the leather stained. That's why it's dirty looking. But it holds extra sheets of paper that are blank. And so that's what goes in here. Then we have just a sheet of paper where I wrote down the introduction to a certain part of the study guide. And so that's right there. It's just on one sheet, right? Then we have another piece of information that I want to include in the study guide that I need to develop, and I will be developing that on this page. In this section, in this folder section, which I reinforced with washi tape over here, or some papers were probably going to slide out through there because there's really nothing holding that there. Okay, in this folder, we have the first iterations of the moon mapping study guide, right? We have the Word document right here where I like did it in Word, right? And then where I'm doing my edits on the printed document. And this is where that task list is. January 20th, 2022. I'd be embarrassed if I didn't know I was doing all this other important stuff. But anyway, and then here's where we were going with it. And we designed this in pitch. And so a lot of what was written on this Word document was included in this pitch presentation. And what I was doing was double checking my references so that I can, give proper credit where I'm supposed to, etc., etc., etc. And then, of course, I never did it. I never finished it because of the reasons I stated and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, what was the point? The point is I am inspired to pick this up. When I see this little folder, I get excited, and hopefully that is what I need to complete this project. Didn't need to start a new notebook or buy a new notebook, because I have a lot of notebooks that I could have started, but they are not fountain pen friendly. And that's what it was about. I was like, oh, if I could use my fountain pen, I might want to, just bang it out via fountain pen. And so that's where this idea came from, to make a fountain pen friendly system so that I can complete the moon mapping study guide, and so that it can be fun and I guess release that dopamine. Like, it makes it seem like a new project, even though it's a very, very old project. But basically, what is the study guide for? I didn't even talk about that. The study guide is actually to help you fill out your own little thing here. Like, when you find these aspects, how do you interpret them? That is what the study guide is for. We're definitely using it to look at the moon, to see what aspects the moon is making, and see how we can apply that to our circumstances. And so here we are. We're at the end. I believe we've covered everything that I intended to cover. Just going to double check. Oh, no, I did not talk about Bailey Varnel, and I need to. Okay, so we are not done yet. We are going to get into a little bit of astrology real quick, because she freaking blew my mind yesterday. I have linked her video in the description. I highly suggest you check it out. Find out what house your Mars is sitting in and see what she has to say. So I did that. I knew that, but my Mars is in my 12th house. And it's got a very unique presentation, and the things that she said were so validating to me that I was like, I want to talk about it. I want to share about it, because it's got a lot to do with productivity. And can you freaking believe? Oh, never mind. I thought I left it downstairs. No, it's just wrong stack. We're over here. We're over here with the stack. Okay, here's the astrology notebook. And then, okay, there's the astrology notebook. Let's move that over there. Okay, so I took like 2 pages of notes based on her video. So we're just going to go right to it. Mars in the 12th house. Mind blown. Some of the things that blew my mind. Mars in the 12th house holds the power of the invisible warrior, not on the battlefield. And that validated me. This Mars is the dream, in the silence, in the soul. It is difficult to access Mars in the 12th house in a world obsessed with visibility and productivity. And that is the truth. It is the truth for me. Some of the description, she says, struggles to identify what they want. Ambition feels inconsistent or too wrapped up in other people's needs. And we were possibly taught that our strength had to be external to be real. And when that happened, we started to doubt our own inner fire. And wow, that blew my mind. It blew my mind. And when does this placement get blocked? And this was important for me because I have often found the drive blocked. The symptoms that she describes fit me. They just fit me. So we internalize, those of us with Mars in the 12th house, internalize other people's projections and start fighting invisible battles that were never theirs. Holy crap. Like, dude, I need to confront that shadow. That shadow that is still heavily influenced by others' projections, and where I'm like arguing and defending imaginary projections. Another important thing for me to learn from Mars in the 12th house is that we lose momentum when we're constantly helping, healing, or hiding. I really need to take a look at how that looks for me, because community is important. Family is important, and I need to understand the balance, or I am going to lose momentum. And I often have. And then I feel guilty and less than because I lost momentum, because I could not handle this other thing. And it's, dude, it was just so validating. Needs clarity, compassion, and space. Yes, I fucking do. And so I'm going to give that to myself. I will be the first. I will be the first to give that to myself. One thing she says, she talks a lot about timing. People with Mars in the 12th house move with divine timing, and I need to respect that as well, because I tend to judge myself for not hitting certain milestones. Like, I do it with the planning all the time. Yeah. I mean, I can keep going. Her video explains it really well. If you have Mars in the 12th house, definitely jump right over to that and check out what she has to say about the other placements, because if she nailed Mars in the 12th house so good, she probably nailed them all. The final, I guess, quotable that I walked away with from that video was, Mars in the 12th house doesn't want to win a race. It wants to move with meaning. And that explains my entire life. And I'm going to have to really, I could journal pages and pages about that statement. I cannot, my inner child is wounded from having to hear hurry up so much. Let's just leave it at that. And she needs clarity, compassion, and space. So that's it. Like I said, I linked this video by Bailey in the description. Listen for yourself. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed our time together, please like, subscribe, and be sure to check us out next week, next Sunday, live at 3:30, where we will be planning week 33, and we'll see what else we'll have for after the fact. Only love prevails. Peace.